So I'll tell you this. I'm gonna say, y'all see the title, you see what I'm talking about. I asked, well, I didn't, it was a question. I posed a question, right? Am I addicted, right? I had the statement. I think I might be addicted, right? Addicted to what? Based on the title, it says I might be addicted to pressure. Maybe. Maybe you are. I feel like today we can talk about it, right? Because we talked about a lot of things. Um, I've gotten very personal and vulnerable. And so why not keep going? That's my thought process. Why not keep going? We already opened up the door. Might as well keep on. Might as well kick that bad boy in. You know what I'm saying? So, in doing so, I'm going to say this, that in taking a look at the things that we've talked about, some of the topics that we've discussed, um, I guess, I guess I have to explain it like this. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm gonna have to explain it like this because we're talking about this topic that's a little bit different. Um, because I I more comfortable with pressure versus peace? I think this is a question that everybody should ask themselves, right? Depending upon their situation, depending upon what they got going on, right? Because I think that everybody says they want peace in their life, right? I've said that, I've prayed about it, thought about it, and that's what the conclusion I've come to. I do want peace in my life, right? I definitely do. But if I say I want peace and I say I want calm, then how is it that I really only know how to focus when something is urgent, right? I really only know how to function when everything's on the line. You know what I'm saying? So that made me pose the question today of, am I addicted to pressure? You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is what we need to talk about, right? I feel like this is what we need to talk about. And I think a lot of people believe that I'm, Mr. Motivation guy, right? Do I motivate people? Probably. Is that my goal? Maybe. I think more than anything, my goal is to help you to see life from a different perspective than you may have had it before, right? If I do that, then you can decide and make choices for yourself which way you want to show up in this world, which way is best for you, right? Which way is best for you to show up as your best self, right? If we talk about these topics, we discuss through what all this stuff means and all of that kind of thing, then we can kind of figure out, right? It ain't on me to tell you, it's on me to ask the questions, right? If I ask the questions and I pose them to you or pose them to myself, then we're figuring it out, right? Because who wants to deal with the pressure? You know what I'm saying? Like, pressure can push you to uh, reach a level that you've never reached before, right? Pressure can make a diamond, right? But am I addicted to that pressure, right? Because this ain't about addiction in the usual sense, right? In the normal sense that most people know addiction to be, okay? This is about being used to stress, right? That's pressure, right? Urgency, chaos, deadline, emotional, intensity, right? Emotional intensity, where something is like, and everything is tight, right? Some people like that, right? Survival mode. Or do you feel like you're always in survival mode? Because if you feel like you're always in survival mode, and you feel like also life feels funny if you're not in that survival mode, like this feels weird, then maybe peace is unfamiliar, right? Maybe peace is uncomfortable. So, could that be, right? Here's the question. Could that be because what you know best is pressure, right? I just think that sometimes pressure is like that thing that a lot of people have now called their friend, right? I believe that, and let's just talk about me, okay? I think a lot of times I've said out loud that I function the best when the pressure's on, right? I know I can step to the plate. Like if it's a basketball game, give me the ball at the end of the game, right? Last couple seconds, I start functioning. And I'm not just talking about in basketball, but I'm talking about in life. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind being the person that when the chips are low, everything's down, pass it to me, I'm gonna make something happen, right? And I've been that way. But now in this time in my life, right, where I'm thinking through these things, is it is it I I don't know if I want to say like this is the way I should be, right? Because I don't know if this is the way I should be. Should I be a person that's feeling like I perform best when I'm stressed? I don't think that anybody should lean to that. Now, if you have the ability to perform very well under a stressful situation, that's worth it, right? You may need that skill because that can be a skill. But if that's the thing that you look for, like I'm not gonna make a move until there's pressure. I'm not gonna make a move until the chips are low. Like that's when I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna shine. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna take the last 3 point because I know I can do it. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be like that. Like that shouldn't be your norm. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't be my normal. So as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, maybe I am addicted to pressure, right? Because it seems like sometimes the things that I do are always last minute thing. Even clients, right? Clients will come to me at the last minute and be like, hey, I have this project, I need it done in a week. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody else didn't do the project. So now, I'm coming to you. But why didn't you come to me when you had time? Right? Because I would rather have time. But because this has been a routine of people calling me in the last minute, do I accept that because I know I can come in and hit that last minute 3 point and hit, you know what I mean? All net, you know what I'm saying? And kill the project, though it's last minute and it probably could have been better if I had the time. Probably. But I'm just saying, like, I might be addicted to pressure. Like, this is just an internal, you know what I mean? Fight, right? Well, not a fight, a question, right? Internal question of my existence. Because once you start this path, right? This path of becoming the best version of yourself, you start questioning everything about your existence. Do I move right in this area? Do I move right in that area? You know what I'm saying? Am I operating to the best ability in any given situation, right? Am I showing up with the right mindset when I'm talking to clients, when I'm talking to, the relationships I have, when I'm talking to my kids, right? Am I showing up in the right way? Those questions that you start asking yourself makes you start looking at yourself in a different way, from a different angle. And that's what this whole channel is about, right? Really taking a look at yourself, doing a deep dive and saying, hey, is this me? Is there a way that I can make myself better? Is there a way that I can put myself in a better position to win? Because the whole point is to win. Whatever winning looks like to you, that's what this is supposed to get you to. Because you can make a decision to win in this way, where somebody else might try to make a decision to win in that way. Some people don't care about procrastination. Some people don't care about pressure. Some people want peace. Some people want, chill time. They don't want to be always on the edge, right? If you say that you want peace, if you say that you want, chill, then that means that you have to plan things in advance, right? That means you have to structure your life, right? And we talked about those things in past episodes, in past lives. But now I'm coming to the realization that me personally, there might be a chance that I may be addicted to the pressure. This is a hard thought process, right? Because it's like, am I? It's a realization that I've come to, and this is the reason why I'm even talking about it today, right? Because when I think about it, right? Here's some thoughts. Am I procrastinating and waiting until the last minute to do things? If I think about it, I got things right now on my to-do list that I probably could have already started working on. But I haven't. Am I waiting for it to get closer to when I think I need to be done by? Maybe unconsciously. You know what I'm saying? Because if I put it on my to-do list, then that means I plan to do it. And for me, I do everything that's on my to-do list. Here's the thing though. Am I creating an emergency? Right? Am I creating an emergency situation where I'm like, I know it need to be done 3-4 weeks ago, but yet I waited until the last week, or I waited until the last 3 days because I'm like, I should be able to finish that in 3 days. Like, it shouldn't take me no longer than 3 days to do that. And then I end up waiting. Now I've created an emergency. I've started, putting things on the back burner, all that kind of stuff. And now I might have a new project that comes in that does have time, but now I've got to push that back because I still didn't do this thing. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm asking the question, am I addicted to it? Maybe. Okay, let's keep going. So what about if you keep choosing chaotic people, right? People who are on the edge all the time. Like, that's how they live their life. And those are the type of people you keep choosing. Is it because you want to be around that pressure, right? You want to be around that high level of stress, right? I think about it, and back when I used to do live TV, right? I worked at a company, if you will, that we did live TV. Here's the thing. When we did live TV, it was a lot of pressure, right? And yeah, I'm folding my arms. I'm not saying because I'm trying to separate and keep distance between you and God, you and I. I'm saying that, in my thought process, I cross my arms when I think about things. just so you know, okay? So if I am thinking about this, that was a very high pressure environment. Okay, very high pressure, very high stress, very high level of performance you had to do because you didn't have time to miss the deadline, right? The show had to go on, things had to move in certain time frames, and that led you to getting things done immediately, rolling, right? If anybody in the chat has been in that environment, you'll understand what I mean, right? The live TV industry is very, very chaotic. Very chaotic. A lot of people talking, a lot of things going on. You're taking inputs in your eyes, your ears, you know what I mean? And this stuff is, you're moving, you're doing things, you're pointing cameras, you're making sure that you're keeping up with what's going on, what they're talking about, what things you need to put on the screens, what things you need to put on this screen, the sound changing, right? Microphones moving, like all these things, and you're trying to make sure that everything is going off without a hitch. High pressure. Some people can't take that level of pressure. And I did that for a couple of years. Okay. So in doing that, it makes you lean in to that pressure moment, right? That high pressure moment. And when you have that level of pressure and you get it done, at the end, there's this, oh boy, we did it. Oh, we did it. High five, right? You high fiving around the room. You know what I'm saying? We did it. We killed it. You know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. I think that feeling a person can get addicted to. You know what I'm saying? I think it can. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that there may be, if I'm coming up with this topic, then there's probably some sort of a, what do you call it? Some sort of a understanding in me that this could be true, right? There's some kind of connection, if you will. Okay. So if we think about that, am I waiting until things get bad to go do something about it? Right? Like I see it coming, but I wait till the last minute and then I go do something. I don't think that I do that though, because I don't like things to get bad, right? Pressure is one thing. When I see it going downhill, now we got to fix that fast, right? But am I confusing stress and that high pressure stuff with productivity, right? I may have been stressed out and I have now told people like, oh yeah, I've been getting stuff done. But am I really getting done all that I could get done? Or is it because I've knocked back some of the stress that I feel like I've been productive? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm asking myself all these questions because these are questions that you have to ask yourself if any of this is connecting with you, right? Does anybody feel this way? Like, do y'all feel like that you're waiting until the last minute to get stuff done? You know what I mean? Don't leave me out here by myself, because I know it's not just me. I know a lot of other people. Get in the chat, let me know, right? Get in the chat, let me know. Put it in the comments, however you want to do it, but let me know. Because I think there are people who are out here that are confusing survival mode, right? Survival mode with their purpose, right? If survival mode is how you operate, then it almost becomes where you kind of feel like, oh, well, this is my purpose, right? Because I'm able to complete it. I'm able to get it done. So it must be the thing that I'm good at. No, you might just be good at surviving. You might be good. You know how some people are con artists, right? Con artists. A con artist can act as if they can do anything, but really they're just doing enough to get by. Right? So are you conning yourself? Right? Let's make it even more real. And you can repeat after me. Am I conning myself? Where I think this thing is my purpose, but really and truly, I just understand how to survive. These are these are the things that I'm asking myself. These are the questions that I have. Somebody, you know what I mean? Jump in the chat. Like, I'm trying to. Don't leave me out here. Don't leave me out here. I'm just messing with you guys, man. I'm just messing with you. Here's what I'm trying to get across, right? Like, if you only are getting things done when the deadline is right in your face, then there might be an issue, right? Like, you may be addicted to pressure, right? If you keep putting off the conversation that you know you need to have, and you're waiting until something blows up to have it, I think these are telltale signs, right? Now, do I do some of those? Maybe, maybe. And I'm trying to be honest with myself, right? Like, maybe I do some of those because sometimes you can operate in a way and not even realize that you're operating that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I waiting until things like feel off? Like, something just ain't right, right? Life is too quiet. I gotta make something pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people would call that toxic, right? Some people would call that, looking for problems, right? But I don't think that they're doing it on purpose. I think they don't even realize that's what they're doing, right? In that instance, right? Like someone feels off, it's too calm. I need to get something popping, right? And somebody needs to get into some argument, and they might not even say it to themselves. They just go initiate something. So and so said something about you, right? They're trying to create stress. They're trying to create pressure. They're trying to create that feeling, so then they can come in and either one, save the day, or two, um 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 step out of it so they can say, oh yeah, I don't really like the pressure, I don't like the stress, but I want calm, right? They're trying to promote calm, but yet they initiated this situation that's stressful, right? I think there's two sides of that coin. You know what I'm saying? There's two sides of the coin. There's the person who initiates it because they want to get in it. There's people who initiate it because they just want to see it. They want to be entertained. Right? Now, for me, this is all personal, right? This is personal because, like I said, I'm questioning myself in this and seeing which side am I on, and not only which side am I on, but also how am I leaning, right? Like, I don't lean to the fact of creating chaos. Don't like it. Don't like it. I don't like people who do that. I really don't. I don't like it because why are you setting off a situation that we didn't have to have? Right? This situation did not have to exist if everybody would have just, had a reasonable conversation, but that's not what people do. Some people just literally lean into creating chaos, right? And so that's what we have to figure out. Why is that? You know what I'm saying? Because that shouldn't be. So that's one, right? That's one. But it's also personal because, like, when I'm a person who looks for opportunities to build businesses, looks for opportunities to create something new, right? I get on here and I stream and talk to you guys because I want to be able to help others become the best version of themselves, right? I take time out of my life to create music that I can put out that still do the same thing as these lives, which is help others see their life in a different perspective, and they can choose to make a different choice based on the examples that I use within my music, right? Now, here's the thing. I feel like I'm an idea chaser, right? Like I'm looking for the next idea, the next thing that I feel like I can do that can make some sort of difference in the world. I really do. And doing all of those things, especially comprehensively, right? Like doing them all, meaning 1 minute I'm doing that, 1 minute I'm doing that, next minute I'm doing that, then I jump over here to that. I take a couple phone calls, go on a couple meetings, do this, do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm running, boom, 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 boom. And when I say running, not physically, mentally, right? By the time I go to bed, my mind, it has had it, right? Sometime around about 7, 8 o'clock, checkout season. My mind is checking out. You know what I'm saying? Checking out. Now, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes that I'll stay up late, do more work. But most of the time, if I'm up late, it's because I'm lunching. You know what lunching means? I'm letting my brain be. It might be by watching videos, it might be by watching TV, it might be by, some form of streaming something, just so I don't have to necessarily think about the things that I know I need to do. Right? Because I've applied so much pressure to my life on a daily. Right? But I'll tell you this. If I don't take that time to let my brain kind of calm down from all of the pressure that I've more than likely put myself in, right? Then that means that I may think that that pressure means I'm doing something important with my life. I don't think that the pressure itself means that I'm doing something important, right? If you try to equate the pressure with importance, I don't think those two things are equal, right? I think it may have been important to help that individual in a timely manner when there's a short deadline, yes, but that doesn't mean that what I'm doing is actually important to the purpose of who I am. Right? So how can I equate just because I was able to manage the pressure for someone else's project that I'm doing something important in my life? I, I don't think there's equivalence there, right? I don't think it's the same. So I think if I'm going to be able to reach my purpose in my life, then that means that I have to start getting rid of some of this pressure and stress, right? When I'm so that makes me say, well, how can I do that? Right? How can I get rid of some of this pressure and stress? Let's think about that. If you have some ideas, right, about how I can reduce that pressure and stress, put them in the comments, put it in the chat, jump in, let's talk about it. Because how can I reduce that pressure and not stop the flow of income? I think that we end up putting ourselves in a box. Oh, okay, no. Let me say it a different way. We end up letting other people put us in a box. Okay. Now, this is something I've said before. I haven't said it on stream, but this is the way that I've thought about this before. Okay. We let people put us in a box instead of creating the box and giving it to the people. I'm going to let that sit for a second. Did y'all get that? I'm going to say it again. We let people put us in a box instead of us creating our own box and then handing it to them. Okay? Let's walk out what that looks like. Shall we? Shall we? Yes, we shall. Here we go. If there is a... Okay. All right. I've told you on this stream that, and we just said it, that I do music, graphic design, develop apps and websites, do videography, editing, and things of that nature. Okay. So I do basically full on production in every sense of the word. Okay. I've done live TV. I've done, films. I've been in films. Here's the thing. What people used to know me for live TV, right? They knew me for being a director in the live space, okay? That's what people knew me for. That was the box I was in, right? And not to mention or to boot, church live TV, okay? That was how a lot of people knew me. I've done a lot of traveling on that tip too. So then, if now I want to change that box, I have to create, well, a new box and then show that to the world, right? Because if everybody only knew me for that thing in the past, then I sat there and didn't present a new box. I started doing something else, but I never presented it. I just started doing something else. And then people slowly started finding out about it, but I haven't really gave it a box. You know what I mean? Like I haven't really put it together in a way that I could show somebody else and tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. If I haven't given that to them, then they're looking at the thing that I'm doing now, and now they're going to start to create a box / narrative for who I am, what I'm doing, and how they can put me into their life, right? If I tell them that I do audiovisual production, design, and development, right? If I say that that's what I do, and that's all I say every time that I say it, then they will say, well, oh, he does video. Oh, he does development. Oh, okay, he does design, right? I've created the box. I've set it in a way now that I can present it, right? And if people say, oh, well, do you do music videos too? Right? Because now they're thinking of ways that they can use me based on the things that they know now that I know. So now I've created a box because that's the box I want to work in, and I've handed it to them. Does that make sense? Because once I've done that, then now anytime they think of me, they're going to think of me based on the box I presented to them. Right? Based on the box that was created for me back in the past, based on what I did that I never said I was, I just did that, right? And people found out that I did it over time. People would talk about it. People would go around tell other people about it. And then that's how I would end up getting referral type business and going out there and doing things, okay? Wasn't a bad box to be in, to be honest. Wasn't a bad box to be in. However, it wasn't a box that I created, packaged, and handed over. So the box that I'm in now is a box that I created, built, handed over. Here's another thing. I just said that I create businesses, right? Because I've created multiple of them. Here's the two businesses that I'm running now, which I've talked about on stream. So I'm not going to go deep into them at this moment. But what that does is make people say, oh, he's an entrepreneur, right? Once you start creating businesses, you're an entrepreneur, right? Okay, cool. If I'm an entrepreneur, then in some circles, that's how they'll know me, right? And in some circles, that's what I go in there and I say. I don't say that I do audiovisual production, design, and development. What I say is I own 2 companies, right? And I'm working on a third, right? I'm also vice president over a nonprofit, right? So here's the thing. What I'm saying here is that I have now in this circle given them a box. In this circle, I'm presenting this box, right? Then I do music, right? I said that. I'm an artist. I've been doing music almost my whole life. Some people know me for that, right? Some people know me as a gospel rap artist. Others know me as a rap artist. Others know me as a producer, right? Because others know me as a mix and mastering engineer. All this is within the music space, right? Some people even know I do live sound, right? Front of house. So if everybody knows that I'm in the music space, but each one of those people know me for a different vein of that space, those are little boxes that I've created and I've handed it to them. right? I didn't let them create the narrative for what I do. I've handed it to them. Here's what I do, right? I've presented that to them. Okay, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I've created so many boxes for myself that now the goal when I did it was to keep getting business in all of these different arenas, right? Money coming, money coming in, money's always coming in. That was the reason I did that. Now, there comes a point where it might be too much, right? It might be too much because then you're getting calls for this, you're getting calls for that, you're getting calls for this. I'm getting calls for this, this, and this, and this. As I'm getting all these calls, now I have to try to manage all of this. So did I do it unconsciously? Did I do it unconsciously, meaning create a stressful work environment instead of saying, hey, here's the box. I do this. I'm a video editor, right? Or I'm an artist, or I'm a streamer, or I'm a, right? Whatever those things are, right? Oh, I'm a graphic designer. I didn't create the box narrow enough. Why? Well, one, because I think I like to do all of those things, right? And I'm good at all of those things, right? But it's so much that it's overwhelming. A lot of people ask me, how do I do all that I do? I've gotten that question numerous times. How do you do so much? When do you get a chance to sleep? Right? But I already told you, come 8 o'clock, my brain done checked out. I'm done. But that's because during the day, I'm all go, right? I'm all gas, no break. I'm all go. Whatever the go means, get it done. And a lot of things that I do, it doesn't take me long to do because I'm good at it, because I've done it for years, right? So now, if I have a project, for some people, it might take them 6 hours to do that project. For me, it might take me 2 hours, right? But it's only because I've been doing it for so long. Is that a good thing? Yes. Is it a not so good thing? Yes. Because then I can end up filling my day with a bunch of things and not get to the thing because I know I could do it in 2 hours. This is what I was going into earlier. Now I just gave you more context. But this is what I'm talking about, right? Because I know I can get it done in 2 hours, I'm like, I don't have to do that yet. I can do all these other things, right? So now I've created a stressful position for myself unconsciously, right? Don't get me wrong. I consciously made the decision to do it, but it was unconscious that I put myself into this stressful, pressurized position when I could have just did it as soon as I got the project in. Project came in, I could have just been 2 hours later, done, package it up. Don't send it yet because they're expecting some hard design. Give it some time, right? Give it some time, work on this other stuff, and then pre-send the email for it to go out in 8 hours. All right, 8 hours, the email would send off. By then, I've done 5 other things. I've gotten done 5 other projects. But that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is waiting till the last minute, right? Because I know it's going to take me 2 hours. Knock it out, right? And then feel stressed because I'm like, oh, I gotta get this done. And now I'm like, now I feel like I gotta get it done in an hour just because I'm on mega, right? I'm sitting here with the music blasting in my face and I'm rolling. Okay, this, that, bam, 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 bam. Good to go. Let it fly, right? But why? I don't have to be that way. I don't have to put myself in that position, right? I don't always have to be putting out a fire, right? Because sometimes, I think I can feel like, if I'm having a calm day, right? And I'm just working on some stuff here. Got to handle this over here. Do I feel like I'm not doing enough? Right? You can definitely feel like that if you don't feel like you're bringing in the amount of money that you think that you should have, right? You feel like I'm not, I must not be doing enough. There's got to be more that I could do, right? I think that if we really look at the situation, there's a difference with being busy and being productive, which we had a whole video on that before, right? Busy versus productive. Take a look at that. Take a look, go back and look at that video. Because what I know is that they're not the same, right? Just because you're busy don't mean you're actually making way. You're actually gaining ground. You could be standing there running. I could be in the studio all day running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but I really ain't making no progress. No work is getting done because I'm running around back here in circles. I'm back here doing push-ups all day. I'm back here like, looking out the window, seeing what's going on out in the world instead of getting the work done. Right? I could be sitting over here like, okay, let me update my computer and let me, clean up the wires back here and let me, and not saying that my wires is all bad, but I'm just using that as an example, right? Like, I can be saying that I got to do this, I got to do that, got to do this. Okay, all of that's busy, right? Oh yeah, I got to make sure my space is clean and every day I come in here I got to wipe stuff down and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Maybe once a week do you need to wipe everything down, but every day, what are you doing? Cutting wood? You know what I mean? You back here kicking up dust? Do you have dust in your workspace? It's different if you work in the wood shop or something, right? Automotive shop. But in a studio, you ain't got that much dust that you need to be dusting every day and you ain't getting no work done. These are just the things that I'm talking about, right? Like these are the fights that you got to have with yourself on a regular basis, right? These are the fights you have to have with yourself. And when I say fights, I'm not saying like, man, you got to beat yourself up. I'm saying that you have to like push through your brain telling you, don't worry about that right now. Let's handle this cleaning. Let's go grab the vacuum and vacuum the carpets in the house. You know what? We ate lunch. Now let me just go ahead and empty the dishwasher, right? And then not only am I going to empty the dishwasher, let me go over here and, see what we're going to have for dinner. Okay. Oh, let me go ahead and run to the store now. In the middle of the workday, let me run to the store now. I can get that done. And then I can come back and that'll give me like 3 hours before that project's due. But I still can probably update that video and then get to that. And so basically I'm supposed to have it done by the end of business. I done pushed my whole day in front of the work that's gonna actually pay me the money, which then takes the pressure off, right? All I'm trying to get at is that we need to question some of the behaviors we have because I think some of us are still trying to create pressurized situations and because we like to work under duress. I think a lot of us are used to it, right? You might have grown up in a stressful situation. You might have grown up where everything was on edge all the time in your house, right? Your mom was always running around there looking like, oh, we got to do, well, we got to go. Your dad was like, get up, do this. We got to do that. We got to do that. And nobody ever sat down. Everybody was just always going. If you're looking for that type of life, then you may not even realize it, but they might have been that type of person that always put themselves in stressful positions, that always waited to the last minute to do things. That doesn't have to be your story, right? That doesn't have to be my story. We can plan, right? We can choose to not take a project if it's at the last minute. If we do take that project at the last minute, then we just charge more, right? For a rush fee. Because then that forces people not to bring us last minute projects. I hope this is coming across the way that I'm hearing it in my head, and the way that I'm really trying to hope you guys can receive this, right? But I think that I really have to ask, like, any of us in any given situation, we really have to ask ourselves these questions, right? These are the questions that we have to ask. And we talked about them already, but I think I'm going to ask it again, right? One, right? One is, why do I keep creating pressure situations, right? I keep doing it. It's become a habit, right? It's become a habit. Then maybe something like, why does the pressure feel good to me? And you might not even be convinced that it does. You may be like, I don't like to be under pressure, right? That's because that's the right answer in your head, right? But if you keep recreating pressure sensitive or pressure inducing moments by putting stuff off and things like that, maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe it does feel good and you don't even realize it, right? You don't even realize that it feels good, right? But then you might even say like, well, does having these pressure type situations make me feel important? Right? Because if I can come in for the save at the last minute, then I can poke my chest out. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. I come in there and everybody gonna say it. They gonna get on your line and be like, you did it, bro. That was wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yo, I knew you the greatest, bro. You the greatest. That's what they gonna tell you. And you can walk around with your chest poked out and you around there flexing like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rock that. And then you go around telling everybody else, yeah, yeah, you know, I did that project, yo. I did that project. You was at the last minute feeling like you was about to pass out because you couldn't get something to work right, and then you finally got it to work right. Yeah, so you did win, you did get the thing, but the problem is you did it under duress, and you probably could have did it better than you did do it, right? Because you'd had time to think about it. You'd had time to do different versions of it. You'd had time to figure out whether or not this was going to go better with that or this would go better with that. Don't get me wrong. I think that sometimes the pressure does make a diamond. But there's one part of that line that we have to keep in mind. It's pressure over time that makes a diamond. Not just pressure, right? It's pressure over time, which means that if we just keep our work level up, still organized, still no project is the last minute, there's gonna be pressure. There's no matter what. But there's a different type of pressure. There's not a time connected pressure. Now there's a greatness connected pressure. That's a different type of pressure. The pressure of, I'm gonna go in here and okay, Kobe, I'm gonna go into the gym and I'm gonna be hitting 1,000 free throws before I go home. It's not because it's a rush. It's because I want to be great, right? I'm gonna create a new graphic every day, right? I want to be the greatest graphic designer ever, right? So I'm going to do a new graphic every day. I might do one every hour. Just if I ain't got nothing else to do, if I'm finished doing the work, right as soon as I finish one work, I'm gonna just create me a quick new graphic, right? Just to stay sharp, just to stay quick with the tools, just to keep my ideas flowing. That's pressure to get to greatness. And if you're addicted to pressure, maybe that might be the pressure that you need to put on yourself. Push for greatness, not pressure because I don't have enough time. Not pressure because I didn't plan effectively, right? Not pressure because I've created a box by which others are know me that I can do it at the last minute. And so that's all they bring me. A bunch of projects that's due at the last minute. That's not the right type of pressure, right? The pressure that, if you're going to put pressure on yourself, put the pressure for greatness on yourself, right? Because the pressure for time can actually be a distraction. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm hoping I'm making myself clear with these things that I'm trying to get across, like with these points. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all are getting it. Because if you push pressure for greatness, I don't think that that costs you as much, right? If you push pressure for based on time, based on poor planning, or last minute execution, that can cost you. That can cost you a lot. What can it cost you? My ideas are, it could cost me peace, right? It can cost me creativity. It can cost me health, right? It can cost me my relationship, right? Think about it. If I keep doing things at the last minute, and now at the last minute, I'm having to, push in the middle of the night one night or whatever, now I'm not spending time with my family, right? And especially if I do it, if I'm doing that consistently, right? Then I'm hurting my relationships. It's costing me my relationships. It's costing me my long term vision, right? Because my long term vision is to achieve greatness in an area. Whatever area I choose, that's the area that I choose to be great in. And if I keep making rush decisions on how I'm going to do that, or rush decisions on getting a project done that I need to get up off my plate so I can keep pushing to greatness, that doesn't lend itself for wise thinking. That's not wise, because you can't keep that up but so long. Because again, it goes back to messing up your health. Because at a point, you're going to get, your heart ain't going to be able to take it. You keep adding on pressure for no reason, pressure that you could have done over time. You could have pushed this project out. Let's say it's a project that might take you a week to do. Let's say the project takes you a week to do. The client wants it, let's say, in 2 months. It might take you a week to do it. The client wants it in 2 months. What's wrong with taking that first week and at least doing as much as you can to try to get that project locked in to where you're like, basically it's done, but now let it go for about half a week or a week, right? You finish it the first week, but now I'm not even gonna think about it for the next week. Okay? They needed a month in the future, right? 4 weeks away. First week I did the project. Second week I just let it go. Didn't even think about it no more, right? Third week I come back to it. Let me look at it. What is this? What is this project? Is this hitting? Do I think this is hot? If I saw this in the streets, would people like it? Would I like it? You know what I mean? And be really, really hard on yourself, right? Scrutinize it. And if I say, you know what? I would have wanted this to be better. I want this to be better. I want this to be moved over here. Because you're coming back at it from a sense of, I'm not stuck with the pressure. I'm not in it. Now I'm looking at it like, do I like it? Would I say that this was dope? If another designer did this, or if another artist did this, if another video editor did this, if another, right? I'm looking at it from a different perspective, and I'm saying, would I like that if I saw somebody else did that? If they put that out on the internet, if they put that out on TV, if they put that out, you know what I mean, on print ad, on a magazine or whatever, would I say, man, it looked like that person ain't know what they were doing. That looked like garbage. Like, would I say that? What would I say about it? And if I could say, oh, that's fire, right? You could go back, look at it later and say, man, that's fire. If you still feel that way, wrap it up, send it to the client, let's go. Now you're done. You still have another week and a half before they even expecting it, right? But if we wait, to the last minute, to the last week, and now we're rolling, trying to finish it. Now we're trying to cut, even though it takes me a week. They thought it was gonna be 4 weeks. It takes me a week, but now I'm trying to compress it into less than a week, half a week, so that way I can then give it to them to get feedback, so that way I can now have it done by the end of the week. I put myself in a stressful situation, right? This is the reason why I'm saying you have to be able to have time. You got to be able, because if you want a diamond to come out, then that takes time. I got to be able to go back. I got to look at it. I got to think about it later, review it, right? Look at it from a different angle, put it in some sunlight, make sure that, run it past a couple of trusted people that I have to see what they think about it. Like, those are the things that you do to make something dope, that makes something great, to reach greatness, right? I'm just giving you these things because I'm like, these are the things that you may have to do if you're trying to achieve greatness in any area of your life. Being addicted to pressure, it doesn't help to achieve greatness. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because pressure might help me move fast sometimes, but it can also keep me from moving well. It can also put me at a disadvantage when you start looking at others who are doing those same things, who aren't moving from the last minute. And I'm not saying to compare yourself against others. I'm just saying that you wonder how they're getting like all these other projects, because they keep practicing, they keep doing things, and they're not waiting until the last minute to do things. They're not shoving everything in the last minute. They're able to sit there, think about their designs, think about their developments, think about their edits and all that kind of stuff, and give it time. Sit with it for a minute, right? A lot of companies, when you think about companies, they're planning stuff a year in advance. Whole events. They're planning out the whole event a year in advance, and then they started advertising it at least 9 months before the event. Now they have a run on time. They can try different advertisement. They can try different advertising channels. They can try all of these other things because they have time. Right? These are the reasons why I'm trying to get you guys to understand that pressure ain't the thing. It's not the pressure for greatness is wonderful. I feel like that's the move that you should be going for. You want to be known, well known in your industry, all that kind of stuff. That's dope. You should be putting in the time to do that. You can't put the time in if every project that comes around, you're pushing it to the last minute. That's what I'm trying to say. Right? And if you really want to think about this, I have to be honest with myself if I believe that peace feels strange to me. Right? I have to stop glorifying that last minute intensity makes me good at the thing. Right? I have to build systems, structures, timelines, margins in for every project that I'll do, and don't take things that don't fit that type of setup. Right? And if I do, it's because I really want to be involved in the project, and I know I can add value to that project even though it's last minute. But that's not the norm. Right? I have to learn how to get it done before it's an emergency, right? Because the goal is not to wait until the pressure makes me go. The goal is to become the kind of person that moves from intention. I want to be intentional about everything that I do. I don't want to move all quick just to get something done. I want to be focused and in the pocket based on the box that I want to be known for. You know what I'm saying? So if anything I said today is connecting with you, and you can see a bright new way, right? That you can become great in your area, right? Not your area of location, but your area of expertise. Then I appreciate you, right? Then I hope that you can make whatever shifts you need to make that happen for yourself. Right? Because what I'm thinking, and I think I'm going to end it here, what I'm thinking is I don't just need less pressure. Right? I don't need just less pressure. I need next level growth potential based on the structure, based on the planning, based on consistent execution that's not based in short periods of time. I need to be able to work smart, not hard. And at times, I feel like I'm working hard, right? And it might be because the things that I'm doing are not effective, because I'm running around in circles in the back of my studio. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really doing that, but in my mind I am, right? Because I'm jumping from one thing to the next, and all I'm doing really is putting out fires. Right? Anything in the last minute is almost considered an emergency, aka a fire. Right? Last minute thought. Here's the last minute thought. If I need pressure to function, then pressure might be controlling more of my life than I realize. So now, I hope you will, because I know I am. I'm about to totally revamp how I'm doing life. Across the board. There may be, I might not end up doing so many videos in a week, right? I may stick to doing maybe, I don't know, I don't even have a number, but it might be more like 3 times a week, maybe, right? Other than the ones that I do with my music at night and the weekends and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just saying this, like I'm saying it out loud, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily what I'm going to come to the conclusion of. Because maybe I'll just realize that streaming is more important to me at this moment than some of these other things, right? Maybe. Because of the community that we're building here and the connections that we're making with, I do know that I want to be there with you guys, for you guys to continue to get more and more, so you can grow more and more. And I can too, right? And the only way we can do that is if I keep on these lives. So I may end up continuing to do this more, but I'm going to have to cut out something that's causing maybe more pressure than it's worth for where that thing is. right? Because sometimes when we're prioritizing these things, it may be you have to prioritize something that's making money right now because the other things aren't. So I may have to prioritize that a little bit higher. And then some of the other things may be things that I might fill in every now and then, but I have to put it on a schedule. Does that make sense? Like I got to put things on a schedule. So that way I'm not feeling like I'm running around and just jumping from this to that, to this to that. I got to get some consistency. I got to get some stability in all of these things, right? Create a pattern, if you will, right? Of when I'm working on things and when I'm working on these things, and you know what I mean, have all that set, because then that will produce more peace, that will produce more ease, it'll produce less confusion. If I know that I'm about to work on this one, then that can also give me time that I can think it out. I can sit there and have I can have a thought session to say, okay, how am I going to address this? I know I'm about to work on it. So how can I address this? What am I going to do? Maybe what I'm going to do is I'll plan to have a 30-minute thought experiment about that project, brainstorm, if you will, about that project before the time that I'm supposed to work on it, right? So I can already put some thoughts in my head. I'm not doing anything else. I might just be sitting here like this, right? Envisioning that project and what it could be, right? I might need to get on the computer, do a little bit of research about that project. Maybe that might be something that I need to do during that 30 minutes. But because I have time, now that means that I can think it through. I can give myself time to wrap my brain around it, right? And what I think, based on some other projects I've done, what I think is I'll get a better outcome, right? And if you implement some things like that, possibly you'll get a better outcome on your projects. So, to answer the original title of this, Am I Addicted to Pressure? I think I was. Even though I didn't like it, I think I was. But now, after thinking this thing through, I think I know how I can beat it. Right? Because you can't quit an addiction. You can only replace it. And so now I'm going to replace this pressure addiction with structure, with planning, and with fully thought out execution. Thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate the time that you're giving. You know, I appreciate everyone who has followed, right? We're almost at the 50 goal, people. But I appreciate everybody who has followed. I appreciate it if you've ever liked, commented, if you subscribed, right? To all of my subscribers, I appreciate you. I really do. Because you didn't have to, but you did. And I'm so appreciative of it. Because there's so many people out there that you can subscribe to, but you chose to subscribe to the Real Rich Bees. And so I'm trying to do that each and every time I go live. I'm trying to give you the real authentic me. I'm not around here playing games. I'm not around here trying to be no motivational speaker or nothing like that. I'm just telling you exactly the thoughts that are in my head and how I think through things as I'm trying to become the best version of myself. Right? So y'all are getting a lot of this in real time. Real time. I just had the thought about it, right? This, am I addicted to pressure? Real time. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I got so much to do, and how come I haven't done it yet? Right? Because I know I had to do this. Like, I said it on one of the other streams, so I ain't even gonna go into what it is. Well, one of them. I've said one of them on stream. In one of the last two or three streams, I've said it. Go back. If you find it, put it in the comments of this one, and I'll tell you if you're right. But what I'm saying is that I already knew I was supposed to be doing that, and I didn't do it. This is what made me think of this. Am I addicted to the pressure? I think I am. That's going to change today. That's going to change today. So now I have to put off everything again because I need to figure out how am I going to handle this, right? What does the plan look like? And maybe it's not something that I need to stop everything for. Maybe that's just something I need to start working forward. That's what I think. I think I need to start working forward. Let's not go backwards. Let's start working forward. So that means that I'm going to create a plan now, work forward, and implement that as I go. Because first things first is what's the rules, right? What's the rules of me saying, no, I don't want to do a project that's last minute? What is last minute, right? I think that's the very first thing I need to find out. What's last minute to me? If last minute is a project that's due within a week, then I'm cutting off any project that comes to me that's due in that same week. If it's due in the same week or 7-day time frame, 7 business day time frame, if it's due within 7 business days, I'm not going to take the project. That might be the first step. That might need to be your first step, right? If it comes within 7 days and you feel like that you can still get it done and it's not going to put you in a stressful position, charge more and then go ahead and do it, right? But charge more. You getting to the bread. We ain't playing around there about that. We're going to get to the bread. But we're going to do it in a conscious way. We're going to do it in a very intentional way. So to that end, I'm saying that's my next step. If you're addicted to stress, addicted to the pressure, maybe that's your next step too. So let's work this out together. Come on back on the next stream. I don't know what we'll be talking about at that time, but I do know that it's going to be something. It's gonna be something that's gonna make us a better version of ourselves, right? So remember, tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow your man's Rich Bees, the real Rich Bees, on all social medias. Rich Bees on other ones that are not up here. See you next time. Rich Bees, it's been fun. We out.